tell everyone the story that you told me when we were hanging out at that little stand. You start saying like, "Hey, when I was a kid, something you joined the military." Like, what? Go ahead. I'll just give the thing to you. Um,
Yeah, I joined the military at 17. I had to get my mom to sign, and she didn't want to, so I couldn't go active duty. So I signed up reserves so I could, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year, you get the college money. So basically, I did all my training. I got back to Miami, and I was like, all right, cool. I got this college money now. I joined my unit, and I was a part of the unit for 3 months, and then I got an anonymous phone call on a Saturday night that we were going to be activated Monday morning to go to war. I was a college student on Friday, and Monday I was going to be flying out to go to war. So it was actually I was getting dressed to go to the homecoming dance with my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, and so I had to keep it quiet from her the entire night, just not to let her know that I was leaving Monday. So basically, that Monday morning, I flew to North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, was there for a week, then flew to the Gulf War, and they put us right on the front lines. Uh,
what?
I was like, yeah, I'm a reservist. What am I doing right on the front lines here? We had a ton of training, and they crammed a whole bunch of training in, and we were prepared as much as a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids could be prepared. So yeah, we basically we were the unit I was attached to. We were the forward element, so we saw a lot of action. It was the 100-hour war, so the first 2 days we saw a lot of action, and then when the war was over, we were ready to come home. They flew us back to North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, because we were reservists that were activated to active duty. They they had to demobilize us, take all our weapons from us, and then send us back down to Miami so we could be with our families again and become reservists again. Go back to the civilian world. So we were all excited. We were up there for a week. That was probably the longest week we ever had, and we uh, we were put in cattle cars,
Yeah.
and they took us over to Cherry Point, North Carolina, and we were supposed to get on a plane to go home and see our families.
Okay.
Well, yeah, about 6 to 8 hours of waiting, and no plane showed up, and our
Wow.
families were in Miami waiting for us.
Is this supposed to be military planes? Like
Um,
government planes, or like the government is fronting?
the government had acquired contracts with different airlines to
Okay.
be able to take us. Like I flew over in Pan Am to from the the states over to Saudi Arabia, and I flew back on a United. So they were trying to set up contracts with private airplane companies,
Okay.
and somebody had messed something up to where the plane didn't arrive. There was 295 of us,
Okay.
and we nobody was telling us anything. And then we see the cattle cars come pulling back up again, and we're looking at each other like that's not a good sign. And we had no way of contacting. There was no cell phones. Everybody was at the airport, so there was no way of contacting them to let them know that we weren't coming.
Oh wow.
So we saw the
Wow.
cattle
Okay.
cars come pulling up, and then they broke the news to us that we were going to have to go back to the barracks, and they didn't know when we would be able to fly home because no plane showed up for us. As you can tell, the morale was in the in the crapper. And then all of a sudden, the major, he's the company commander, he's the highest ranking officer for my unit. He comes out and he goes, "We might have a chance to go home, boys. There's a billionaire that he heard that we were stranded, and he sent his plane. It's not big enough to hold all of us, but what they're going to do is they're going to fly half of us down to Miami. It's going to fuel up, come back, and pick up the other half and take them down to Miami." So then the plane pulled up, and there was a name on the side of the plane, and we were all looking around at each other, and nobody knew that name, and a handful of us did. I knew the name on the side of the plane because my mom always read National Enquirer, and he was always in there, and I
Okay.
so 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 I kind of knew who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you on the first group or the second group?
I was in the first group. I was one of the lucky ones.
And so who was this billionaire?
Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump. And when you told me that,
Hmm.
I went, how does nobody know about something like that?